Hi, my name is Vera Brosgol. I am a children's author here in Portland, Oregon. I make graphic novels and picture books such as Anya's Ghost, Be Prepared, and Leave Me Alone. But my next book is actually something totally different. I'm making a prose novel. So it's mostly text, but it's still got spot illustrations. And this book is due next week. So I'm under a little bit of a deadline crunch. But something really fun came up. A couple of my friends really wanted to go camping, and they asked if I could watch their brand new Siamese kittens. What would you do? Right. So normally I work on a Wacom Cintiq 24, which is pretty big, and it means I'm kind of shackled to my desk at home. But I'm currently trying out the Wacom Movink, which is extremely portable and skinny and nice. And I thought this might be a great way to solve a couple of problems. I can watch the sweet, adorable kittens, and I can also stay on top of my deadline. So I'm trying it out. So the way that I'm working is I've already done all of the rough sketches for this book on my iPad. I've sent them to the art director, and she's placed them into the text. She's laid out the whole book into a PDF. So what I'm doing now is going off of this PDF, off of the art placement, and doing final high-res line art in Clip Studio Paint. So what I've done is I've taken a screen cap of her laid out page, dropped it into the program, scaled it up to 1200 DPI, and now I'm going to do the final art. Something that I really like about this thing is it's super easy to connect. It is just a single USB-C cable that goes right into my laptop. It comes with the Pro Pen 3. It's very skinny, maybe a little bit skinnier than I would want, but it's super light, and it comes with programmable buttons that I've got set up for erasing, eyedropper tool, and right click. So to start inking my drawing, I zoom in a bit and I turn my rough line art to blue and lower the opacity a little bit. This is one of my favorite things about Clip Studio Paint, is how easy and intuitive it is to turn line art blue and then just ink right over it. I've done an entire graphic novel in it. I did my book Plain Jane and the Mermaid pretty much exactly like this, except I did the rough pencil artwork in Clip Studio Paint as well, and I used just one of the standard layout pencil tools, and made like full use of all of the awesome comics features in this app, which you can find tutorials on. I'm sure you can get really, really deep with this program, and I'm a huge fan for comics especially. But this is my first time trying it out for prose, for spot illustrations, and it's been really great for that as well. I'm using the same brush I used for Plain Jane, which is the Daub Strokator 10 brush. I really like this one. It looks great at high res. I'm working at 1200 DPI here, and it's got this really wonderful natural wobble, which to me simulates a brush pen pretty well. It looks organic. It gets lots of like nice happy accidents when I ink, but it's got all the benefits of working digitally, which is smoothing out your line a little bit, being able to undo, and I think it works pretty perfectly for this. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward drawing. I picked a simple one to demo because I didn't want to be in the weeds too much. And I'm going pretty light on the touch features, the on-screen features. I made a really simple brush tool menu. That's what I've got on the screen, just to scale the brush up and down and have the undo and redo readily accessible. But other than that, I pretty much just draw. It's very simple. I'm just working on a couple of layers, and I'm only working in black and white. So I do the simple line art here. Oops. I was having a little bit of trouble with the touch features. I'm working on a Mac, and I heard that can be a little bit of a problem with the Movink. Some of the touch features are a little funky. So it would pick up my palm every once in a while and leave a little dot. It's not doing that here. And here I'm pulling up weird menus. I'm left-handed, so my hand is touching the screen on the left. So that's why stuff pops up every once in a while. And I tried turning touch off entirely and working that way. And that was honestly fine too. But I did really enjoy being able to zoom in and rotate the canvas similar to how it would work on my iPad. I did the rough drawings for this book in Procreate because I did not have a Movink at the time, and I wanted to work portably, so I did my rough sketches that way. But I didn't like it for the final art. I didn't like any of the brushes. Nothing felt quite right. And it just, I don't know, it just wasn't, it was tricky to bring in the PDFs from my designer. It was just so much more straightforward and intuitive to do all of that stuff on the desktop. I could just have Acrobat open, I could have my reference stuff open in a way that I think just wouldn't have been as easy in Procreate. And I really, really love this particular brush, which I don't have in Procreate. I don't have anything quite like it. So it was a real kind of no-brainer to do the final art in Clip Studio Paint. Yep, see, there's some weird stuff going on. I was accidentally hitting the buttons on the pen and eyedroppering the wrong color. But all in all, I think that's something that I would probably get used to the longer I use the tablet. This is definitely like, a day or two's worth of practice with it. So there's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but not too bad. It feels very similar to drawing on my Cintiq Pro. The screen isn't too slippery, which is great. I put a screen protector on my iPad to try to address that. The pen is a little small, but there's other pens available. See, look what I did. But yeah, easy to fix. Zoom back out. The pen's a little bit small for my hand. I like a big pen, but I know that Wacom does make bigger styluses than this one. But I did pretty okay with this one. And the eraser function was really great too. Just being able to push a button and switch to the eraser instead of having to flip the whole pen around like I do on my Cintiq at home was pretty cool. So yeah, I just did that with the eraser. And that one too. So a little bit about the story. It is a novel called Return to Sender. It's based on a webcomic I started in high school, so I've had this idea for a long time. But it's changed a lot. It's about a little boy named Oliver who discovers a magical mail slot in the wall of the apartment that he lives in with his mother. And if he puts a wish into the mail slot, he will get a letter back telling him how to make that wish come true through a series of chain reactions. But he discovers that the chain reactions keep going even after he gets the wish, and those consequences sometimes hurt other people. So he has to grapple with the desire for more of what he wants, which is all around him because he goes to a very fancy private school in New York City with wanting to be a decent human being who doesn't hurt other people. and he has a friend at school named Colette who is much wealthier than him, but she doesn't have a lot of freedom. Her parents are pretty controlling, and she's very excited at the freedom that these wishes have to offer to her, and she also just likes to have a good time. So she's kind of his hype man throughout the story, and she has never had sugar before. And that's what this is a drawing of. It's her holding her very first ever candy bar. And that face is the sugar coursing through her tiny little body. I'm not being too precious with getting all of my lines perfect, even though I can, because this is digital. I do want this to look a little bit more handmade, a little bit more organic. Yeah, I am pretty happy with that. And it's time to do the shading, which I'm keeping very simple for this book. It's just 2 color, or black and white, I guess. So I'm going to do a gray. This is pretty straightforward. There's not too much going on in this drawing, so I just add a little bit of rendering, working pretty loosely. Something that's always a struggle for me working digitally is the ability to zoom in and get really fussy and make all the coloring stay perfectly in the lines, and I'm trying not to do that here. I'm trying to stay not quite at, print size, which is going to be pretty small. This book's 6 by 8 inches, but a decent distance on it. So there's still a little bit of mess. And speaking of mess, that is chocolate smeared all over Colette's face. She's a sloppy girl. So yeah, try not to fuss too much. I think we're calling it good, and then just save it. And that's it. That's how I do a spot illustration.